Nah, quit, Offset. On my daughter, I ain't gonna respond to none of them bitch ass niggas no more. Tell them niggas fuck with me. Fuck all them bitch ass niggas.
Future has finally clapped back at NBA YoungBoy and fam. This whole situation just turned deadly. It all kicked off when YoungBoy went off on Instagram the very same night Future dropped his 10th studio album, and now it has spiraled into one of the most dangerous feuds hip-hop has seen in a very long time. An apology that vanished completely within hours. A reversal that hit even harder than the original diss. And then Future clapping back in a way that froze the entire culture dead in its tracks. But here's the part. Nobody out here is really talking about the real reason YoungBoy exploded that night goes way deeper than just album night timing. The history between these two runs further back than most people even realize. And what Future said in return has everyone genuinely asking if this feud is about to cross a line it can never come back from. We're breaking down every single move, every post, every verified fact behind one of the most explosive rap stories of 2026 because, trust me, you do not want to miss what's coming next. Yo, what's up, fam? We're diving deep into some real industry beef that's been rocking the culture to its core. And before we jump in, let me be straight with y'all. There's a ton of noise surrounding this situation. But we're here to separate fact from fiction, the real from the fake. Because this story has layers most people aren't even touching. Stay locked in, because by the end of this, you'll understand exactly why the feud between Future and NBA YoungBoy keeps getting more personal and more dangerous by the day. To really get why this hit so hard, you first need to know who Future actually is and what he represents in this game. Born Navadius Wilburn in Atlanta, Georgia, Future rose up through the Dungeon family pipeline and built one of the most dominant catalogs rap has ever witnessed. He didn't just drop hits, he completely reshaped the sound of trap music forever. He pioneered a melodic style of street storytelling that became the blueprint for an entire generation of rappers who came right after him. Artists from Drake to The Weeknd and dozens of other younger acts have openly credited Future's massive influence on how they build their own music. And beyond just the cultural weight, the numbers back it up completely. Future has 11 #1 albums on the Billboard 200, which ties him for third in chart history for this entire century. He's landed over 217 different songs on the Billboard Hot 100. He performed at the FIFA World Cup 2026 opening ceremony alongside Tyler. He teamed up twice with Metro Boomin on We Don't Trust You and We Still Don't Trust You back in 2024, both of which debuted straight at #1 on the Billboard 200. On top of all that, Future has kept his commercial relevance alive across multiple different eras of hip-hop in a way that barely any other artist ever manages. He's evolved his sound, reinvented his entire image, and kept dropping projects that genuinely move culture without chasing trends or losing what makes him so distinctive. That kind of staying power is rare, and it's a huge reason why his name carries so much weight every single time he announces something brand new. Whenever people talk about the defining Atlanta rap artists of this era, Future's name is always in that conversation, no debate. And he was right smack in the middle of one of the biggest career moments of his entire life when all of this went down. On June 25th, he announced The Real Me, calling it the album of the century on his own personal Twitter and locking in a July 10th release date. The culture was watching closely, and so was YoungBoy. Now, on the flip side of this feud, you have NBA YoungBoy. Born Kentrell Gaulden in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, YoungBoy's story is one of the most extraordinary in modern hip-hop for reasons that go beyond the music. He broke his neck as a child. He became a father at 16. He scored his first #1 album at 19. He topped the Billboard 200 straight from jail at 21, all while facing serious federal legal battles. And despite every obstacle life threw at him, the music simply never stopped. YoungBoy became the most RIAA certified rapper in history by January of 2026, surpassing Drake, Jay-Z, and Kanye West with a total of 126 plaques. Let that land for a second. He accomplished that at 26 years old, younger than any artist ever to reach that milestone. His fan base, the Never Broke Again family, is one of the most passionate and loyal communities in all of music. His YouTube channel consistently outperforms some of the biggest names in the entire industry. And while he has spent years operating without the full backing of traditional radio and mainstream industry support, He has built a genuinely independent empire that most artists could only dream about. By mid-2026, YoungBoy had already released his album Slime Cry, a 30-track project featuring collaborations with Jelly Roll and Burna Boy, completed the Massive Mass Tour, received a full federal pardon from President Donald Trump, clearing charges in both Louisiana and Utah, and launched a film production company called 38 Films to tell his own story. On paper, things had never looked better for Kentrell Gaulden. He was a free man, a certified legend by every metric that actually matters, and operating at full creative capacity. But the internet, as it always does with artists who move this fast and feel this deeply, had other plans. Now let me break down for y'all exactly why YoungBoy has such a problem with Future. Because this is not random, and it definitely did not start on album night. The seeds of this beef go all the way back to February 8th, 2026, when YoungBoy posted a challenge on Twitter that immediately got the whole rap community buzzing. He put it plainly, 15 songs each, loser never raps again. He was not asking. He was declaring that nobody in the game could go toe-to-toe with his catalog and walk away still standing. Pure confidence, zero filter. Versus TV saw the post and immediately amplified it to their audience with one simple question. Who should YoungBoy go against? And the internet went to work. Gucci Mane got mentioned. Lil Wayne got mentioned. Kodak Black got mentioned. But the one name that kept rising to the top of the conversation, based purely on solo output and undeniable catalog depth, was Future. Fans and commentators pointed out that if you strip away every feature, every collaboration, and every joint project, and look at what both men have done carrying a project entirely alone, Future is the only artist in the current era who can credibly stand in that ring with YoungBoy. When YoungBoy saw that argument gaining traction in his comments and replies, he did not let it breathe for a second. He dismissed Future immediately and sharply, making it clear in his mind that Future did not even belong in that conversation. That response was not just trash talk. That was YoungBoy publicly and openly placing Future beneath him in the hierarchy he had built entirely in his own head. And Future never said a single word back. He did not respond on Twitter. He did not address it on Instagram. He moved in complete and total silence. And depending on how you understand YoungBoy's psychology, that silence may have done more damage than any clapback ever could have. Because in YoungBoy's own world, being ignored by someone you just publicly challenged is not neutrality. It reads as disrespect. It reads as Future not even considering him worth acknowledging. And that quiet dismissal, analysts believe, planted a seed of frustration that spent months growing before it finally exploded on album night. But yo, to fully understand why that frustration ran so deep, you have to look at the bigger picture that hip-hop commentators have been building all year. YoungBoy's tension with Future is not just personal, it is structural. Future represents everything about the traditional music industry that YoungBoy has spent his entire career existing outside of. Future has major label support, industry relationships, mainstream radio presence, and a decade of cosigns from the biggest names in music. YoungBoy has built his empire almost entirely without any of that. He has done it through volume, through loyalty, through an internet-first strategy that bypassed every traditional gatekeeper. And while he has embraced that independence as a source of pride, there is a documented undercurrent of frustration running through his public statements whenever he feels the industry is not giving him his flowers. He has spoken openly and honestly about feeling like established artists are aligned with each other while leaving him out on the outside. He has expressed repeatedly in his own words that his numbers deserve more respect than they actually receive from the people who control the narrative. So when Future drops an album and calls it the album of the century, and the entire industry rallies around that rollout, while YoungBoy is sitting on 126 plaques and still feels like an outsider, something in that dynamic clearly hit different. Whether Future did anything specific and deliberate to disrespect YoungBoy is unconfirmed. What is confirmed is that by the night of July 9th, all of that slow-burning frustration had found a very specific target. And here is what you absolutely have to understand about NBA YoungBoy before we get into what happened that night. This is not the first time he has gone off publicly, not even close. Throughout his entire career, YoungBoy has used social media as an emotional pressure valve in a way that is almost unmatched by any other artist at his level. When something is bothering him, he goes live. When something hits him the wrong way, he posts. He reacts in real time before the feeling has had any chance to cool down or get filtered through anyone around him. The result is a documented pattern of public outbursts that have played out across years of his career. He has gone after other artists on Instagram in the middle of the night. He has aired personal grievances live in front of millions of followers. He has made statements that were sharp and confident one day, then walked them back entirely the next. People who have watched him closely move for years now know his emotional state is often visible in real time. Through whatever he is posting, his tone can flip from raw aggression to genuine vulnerability inside the very same afternoon. That is not an insult. That is simply the reality of what the public record shows about how Kentrell processes difficult situations. He is someone who feels things intensely, and who has, by his own admission, struggled with letting those feelings drive his public behavior in ways he later deeply regrets. He said as much himself on the Offset Live, and understanding that pattern is the entire key to understanding why what happened on July 10th unfolded exactly the way it did. Because anyone who has followed his career closely saw precisely what was coming the moment he started posting that night. The only thing nobody predicted was how fast the whole cycle would complete itself. So check this out. The night of July 9th, the night before The Real Me officially dropped, YoungBoy went on Instagram and posted a video aimed directly at an unnamed rapper who was releasing a project that very same night. He never said Future's name. Let us be precise about that. But there was exactly one major artist releasing an album that night. The timing made the target completely obvious to everyone watching. Hip-hop media picked it up within minutes. The clip spread everywhere instantly. Millions of views within hours. Every major outlet from All Hip Hop to Hot 97 to Hot New Hip Hop ran it immediately. And the culture collectively understood what was happening, even without YoungBoy spelling it out. He was going straight at Future on the biggest night of Future's recent career. In the clip, YoungBoy made it crystal clear he expected Future to fail that night, warning people not to hype up whatever was coming. He was aggressive. He was personal, and he was doing it in real time while Future's album was literally rolling out to the world. Real talk. That is a statement, whether it was driven by pure emotion, calculated timing, or some combination of both that only YoungBoy truly understands. Either way, the shot had been fired, and now the whole culture was waiting to see what came next. Because here is where it gets real spicy. The very next day, July 10th, while The Real Me was officially out in the world, YoungBoy appeared on an Instagram Live hosted by Offset. And what happened on that live is the part of this story that genuinely shocked the entire culture. Offset stepped into the conversation as a calming, grounded presence. He is someone who has been through the full cycle of industry chaos, public controversy, and personal loss. And he brought a measured energy to that live that you could feel through the screen. He encouraged YoungBoy to stop letting his emotions be the thing that steers him publicly. And something in that message genuinely landed. YoungBoy sat there and listened in a way fans watching were not entirely expecting. He opened up on camera and admitted that something had genuinely hurt him emotionally in the lead-up to all of this. He confessed that the hurt is what sent him spiraling onto Instagram the night before. He said he had been crashing out completely. He said he needed to stop letting what he was feeling pull him into reacting before he had time to actually think it through. He thanked Offset directly for stepping in. And then he did something the culture never saw coming. He publicly apologized to Future on camera with Offset sitting right there as a witness. He said the words out loud clearly and made it plain that he was ready to move past it and go forward. That apology hit different for one very specific reason. YoungBoy is not someone who apologizes publicly as a regular habit. He is not someone who sits down in front of a camera and says sorry easily. So for him to do it in that moment, on that platform, with that witness present, meant something. The culture took it seriously. Media ran the apology everywhere. Fans who had been watching all night genuinely believed the beef was dead. It had lasted less than 24 hours and appeared to be completely over. And then everything flipped again. Because within hours of that apology, on the very same day, YoungBoy went back to Instagram and tagged Future directly. The tone was nothing like what he had just said on the live with Offset. He posted a series of clips going after Future with brutal personal insults, attacking his age, declaring his album had already flopped on arrival, and making it explicitly clear that the apology meant nothing, and he was not letting this go. The accountability he had shown on camera evaporated in real time, and that rapid reversal became the defining moment of the entire story. Not the original diss, not the apology. The fact that the apology was gone before the culture had even finished processing it. The same man who sat on camera with Offset and admitted he had let emotion take over went right back at Future harder than before, inside the exact same news cycle. That contradiction is what the internet could not move past, and it is what has people genuinely questioning whether anything YoungBoy says publicly in moments of conflict can even be taken at face value. Now, the question everybody kept asking once the smoke settled was, what did Future actually say about all of this? And here is where we keep it completely real, because the facts matter. Future spent July 10th doing exactly what you would expect one of the greatest artists in rap history to do on his album release day. He let the music speak. The Real Me arrived July 10th through Freebandz and Epic Records. 22 tracks, no features. His first true solo studio album in 4 years. A deeply personal project that Future described in his own words as being about finally showing the world who he really is beneath the persona. The album even contains a track appearing to take aim at Nick Cannon, which tells you Future came into this release in a sharp and competitive frame of mind. But as for a direct public response to YoungBoy, no confirmed interview, no verified social media post, no explicit reply has ever been documented. What Future did was drop a 22-track solo album with 0 features on the same night YoungBoy said he would flop. And then he let the culture decide whether that silence is the coldest move possible, or proof he is not taking YoungBoy seriously enough to even dignify with a direct answer. Either way, the music is out and the culture is listening. Now let us talk about why people keep calling this deadly. There is no confirmed evidence of any real-world threat connected to this situation. What fans actually mean when they use that word is more specific. The personal nature of the exchanges, the direct tagging, the apology that reversed itself within hours, and the unresolved tension between two artists with massive, passionate fan bases has created an atmosphere that feels genuinely volatile. Hip-hop has a long documented history of feuds that began in exactly this register before escalating into something nobody ever predicted. When you have two artists with this kind of reach going at each other in public, with fan bases that are deeply loyal on both sides, and the conflict keeps reigniting instead of cooling down, the culture starts wondering where the ceiling is. The personal insults, the age references, the repeated targeting even after a public apology, all of it signals that this has moved beyond competitive rap talk into something that feels personal in a way that does not simply dissolve on its own. And what makes this particular situation different from most online beef is the fact that YoungBoy already showed he cannot hold himself to his own resolution. He apologized publicly and was right back at it within the same afternoon. That unpredictability is exactly what has the culture on edge. Nobody knows what the next move looks like. And in hip-hop, that kind of uncertainty is always the most dangerous kind. When a situation carries that kind of unresolved energy with those stakes attached to it, the culture pays attention because history has taught it to. The real tea that got everybody shook is just how fast the media machinery turned this into a global story. Within hours of YoungBoy's first posts, the clip was everywhere. YouTube channels, podcasts, blogs, Instagram pages, Twitter threads, every platform picked it up with varying degrees of accuracy and context. Some outlets ran the diss without noting that Future was never named directly. Others covered the apology without reporting the retraction that followed hours later. Others ran the retraction without giving proper weight to what had actually happened on the Offset Live first. The algorithm rewards conflict and speed over nuance and completeness. That is just how engagement economics work in 2026. A story with an apology performs well. A story with a retraction performs even better. A story that contains a diss, an apology, and a retraction all inside the same 24 hours becomes something the entire culture cannot look away from. regardless of what platform they are on. That is the environment this feud was born inside of from the very first moment it broke. For those who know the culture, none of this is surprising in the bigger picture. Competition has always been embedded in the DNA of hip-hop from the very beginning. From the South Bronx battles of the late 70s, to the East Coast versus West Coast tension of the 90s, to the social media era beefs that define the game today, hip-hop has always been a sport as much as it is an art form. Some of those rivalries produce legendary music on both sides. Jay-Z and Nas gave us Godson and The Blueprint in the same era, and both catalogs are richer for the competition. Drake and Pusha T produced one of the most analyzed beef cycles in modern music history. Competition has always elevated the art when it stays in that lane. But the culture has also seen what happens when beef crosses from the musical into the deeply personal. And that is the line everyone is watching now. What makes this situation feel different from those classic rivalries is the Instagram stories era rawness of how it all unfolded. There is no carefully crafted diss track with production value and lyrical precision to analyze line by line. There are phone-filmed clips, emotional posts, and a sequence of actions that unfolded faster than the media could even accurately process in real time. That speed is part of what makes it feel more dangerous, and it is part of what makes it harder for anyone watching from the outside to read clearly. At the end of the day, this story hit the way it did because of the specific combination of people involved. Future is not some mid-level rapper beefing with a peer. He is one of the cornerstones of modern Atlanta trap music who has changed the sonic landscape of an entire generation. And YoungBoy is the industry's most certified outsider. Too big to ignore, too independent to fully embrace, and clearly carrying a frustration that has been building for longer than most people realized. When those two energy fields collide in public, the culture pays attention because it is not just about two artists arguing. It is about competing ideas of what success looks like, what the industry owes its most prolific artists, and whether the numbers always translate into the kind of respect that truly matters to the people generating them. It is about whether independence and volume and raw loyalty from a fan base is enough, or whether the traditional industry machine still holds the keys to the kind of recognition that actually matters. YoungBoy clearly believes he has not gotten what he deserves. And Future, by simply existing at the level he exists at and staying silent through all of it, has become the symbol of everything YoungBoy feels he is being denied. The real question now is where this goes from here. Future has the biggest solo album of his recent career out in the world right now. 22 tracks, no features. A deeply personal statement from one of the most decorated artists in the history of trap music, released on the exact night that NBA YoungBoy told the world he was going to flop. The timing of all of this is not lost on anyone paying attention. YoungBoy chose the biggest night of Future's recent career to go at him, and Future answered by letting the music land without saying a single word back. That is either a sign of supreme confidence or the opening move in something that has not fully revealed itself yet. YoungBoy, meanwhile, has shown in the span of a single day that he is capable of going from aggression to apology to aggression again without losing a step. That cycle has played out in public before, but never quite like this. Never with this much on the line, on this big a stage, against someone with this kind of legacy. The culture is watching both men right now, waiting to see who blinks first. Whether Future addresses it directly, whether YoungBoy escalates further, or whether the whole thing quietly fades the way so many online cycles eventually do, only their next moves will decide what this becomes. What we know for certain is that the feud is unresolved. The tension is real, and nothing that has happened so far suggests either of these men is ready to fully walk away. So drop your honest thoughts down in the comments. Do you think Future is going to respond directly, or is he going to let the album keep doing the talking? And if you're rocking with breakdowns like this one, you already know exactly what to do. Smash that subscribe, because trust us, we are not going anywhere.